So Long Adele is actually really good. I'm kinda shocked about that as well, I'm not gonna lie. Most of these summer events have been kinda mid, but this one definitely bucks that trend. My GOAT, Arknights' greatest character, the Penguin Giga Chad himself, Emperor, appears, so of course it was going to be immediately goated. The event serves as a sequel to two rather mid-events, Hearts of Surging Flame and Code of Brawl. For the most part, Code of Brawl just serves to set up Bison's involvement in the event, but Hearts of Surging Flame is a direct prequel explaining why Siesta has become a mobile city. The event pushes forward the story of Siesta itself, telling the story of how the country is struggling to adapt to the imminent eruption of Mount Siesta. So Long Adele has quite an impressive cast, with a few members of the previous events making an appearance. These characters include Cylon, Bison, Swire, and of course our titular character Adele, also known as Ayafayela, making her debut appearance in these series of events. The event serves as an introduction to Ayafayela Altar, the latest of Arknights' limited operators. The slow build up to this operator's appearance is really well done and drives Aya's character forward in a great way, and by the time Aya Altar actually appears in the event, serves to cement her growth caused by her time in Siesta. Unlike our other Altar unit, Swire Altar doesn't really add anything to her character, it's just Swire in a swimsuit. So it's amazing, just look at her, but a letdown in comparison to the growth demonstrated by Ayafayela Altar. Our banner 5-star could also have been cut from the story, and nothing other than my beloved Inam would have been lost. Playable when Hippogriff, please. And yes, this shall be the last time she's mentioned, as she adds literally nothing to the story. The introduction of Dolly, the Lord of Sheeps, is also amazing. A giant pink fluffy sheep and his many clones. It's a fantastic addition to the lore, and it clears your favorite operator. Dolly unfortunately doesn't live up to the peak that is Emperor, but that's to be expected considering that the Emperor is absolutely peak, so the little sheep gets a pass. The story of So Long Adele, as you might imagine, is based around Adele Newman, also known as Ayafayela, and her journey in Siesta. Her journey to Siesta is initially purely to investigate the volcanic activity, but she quickly begins to retrace the events surrounding the death of her parents. Additionally, the event covers Swire and Bison's attempts to reinvigorate the Siestan economy. This is very much needed following the move from Old Siesta after the events of Heart of Surging Flame. New Siesta is unfortunately going through a rough patch, having lost the great tourist attraction of its beaches due to the evacuation from the area surrounding the volcano. It has been 2 years since then, and people aren't happy with the situation, as no eruption has taken place yet. Siesta has been forced to join Colombia's jurisdiction because of this, which has caused many issues. Specifically, the Colombian government is trying to force its infected policy onto Siesta, which, as it has a relatively large infected population and is generally pretty pro-infected, isn't going down very well. All these events have allowed for many old characters to converge in Siesta. As previously mentioned, Swire has come to Siesta for a vacation and a bit of investing. Bison, who as the head of his own company aims to win the rights for reconstruction work in Siesta. Ceylon, who is now acting as head doctor for the infected members of the public as a doctor for Rhodes Island, and of course our protagonist, Ayafayela. Aya, having traveled to Siesta to investigate the volcanic activity, meets up with Dr. Keller, an old friend of her parents, Katia and Magna. However, more than researches in Aya's future, she's dragged into a conspiracy on her parents' death by another scientist, which messes with Aya's head, and while in this state, she meets Dolly, the Lord of Sheep. As an old friend of Aya's parents, he wants to cheer her up, so he proposes a little game. Dolly's game is a rather simple one, a treasure hunt, where Aya shall have to find 3 things: the North Wind, a seed, and fur. Rather cryptic, Dolly, but alright. From here on out, finding these shall be Aya's main goal, and she hopes to learn what Dolly knows about her parents' passing. Swire and Bison's competition is going in Bison's favor, so Swire hires Ennis, our welfare unit, to help her out. In return, Swire helps to save his family's bar, White Volcano. A bit of a tangent, but I needed to establish it for Aya's next scene, where she meets with Bayard, a Colombian musician, and Costa, a local civil servant. During this meeting, Bayard performs a song called North Wind, coincidentally the first of the items Dolly requested Aya to find for him. The song itself was inspired by Bayard's meeting with Aya's parents and their dream to see Mount Siesta turn pure white, a dream many will experience this event as a result of Dolly's actions. As part of Swire's bid to beat Bison, she sets up a water park for the day. She grabs Aya and Cylon to have a great day off. Definitely not including this moment just to share the CG, but here we are. No, stop looking at women in swimsuits. There is a far more important thing going on in this image. Dolly's clones get to enjoy a great day out. Just look at this peak. Surfing sheep enjoying some nice cool water. And surfing sheep will not be seen for the last time in this glorious CG, but we'll talk about that in a little while. After the peak that was the surfing sheep, we get a far more toned down scene. Aya, while chasing down one of Dolly's clones, passes by a bar while Keller and Costa are catching up. It's a pretty nice scene between the two friends, but serves an additional purpose. The bottle caps of the volcanic coffee soda that this bar is known for are the seeds Dolly is looking for. So Aya is another step closer to completing Dolly's game. Following this, Aya has a strange dream, taking on the appearance of Aya Alter for just a little bit. She is accompanied by two of Dolly's clones, and they travel to Mount Siesta. Despite being long gone, Aya sees her parents in the two sheep, lamenting that they have to part ways. The two sheep, shadows of her parents, can't stay however. Their time has passed, but they hope that Aya will exceed what they accomplished before bidding her farewell. I'm not waiting for the actual reveal in the event. Dolly's clones are manifestations of the friends he has known. They're not being revived per se, but they can carry on some of the will of those who have passed. Dolly's way of remembering his old friends, and a way to comfort those left behind. And yes, we do get to see this play out with none other than Cylon. Barbara, Cylon's mother, sought to end the obsidian mining to protect the environment for future generations and protect the workers from infection. And Cylon seeks to do the same thing, to end the illegal obsidian mining and help the workers, both infected and not, find a place to live in New Siesta. But all this work has been affecting her negatively. Luckily for her though, a lost sheep makes its way to her, and thanks to the power of Dolly, a mother is able to comfort her daughter one last time. While all of this is going on, Swire and Bison have decided to combine their resources. A combination of actually looking to help the people of Siesta, as well as to let themselves stand out from their families. Bison splits his company off from his father's completely so that it can survive on its own merits. Swire, meanwhile, sends a tape to her grandfather, letting him know exactly where he can shove his old-time ideas for having the audacity to try and hinder her and Bison's goals. And just around this time, a volcano is about to blow up, a little earlier than expected. Cylon handles the evacuation, while Aya, now in her mother's protective gear, and taking on the appearance of Aya Fiala Alta for the first time in the real world, journeys to the volcano to see its peak and survey the event. There we witness one of the greatest CGs of all time. I told you surfing sheep were going to be back, although lava surfing is a nice twist to it, but the volcano is currently erupting and Aya Fiala is right there in need of help. Dolly aids Aya in shielding herself from the lava before gathering all the sheep to defuse the destructive events. The wool of the sheep create the white volcano that Aya's parents were seeking, with Aya finally realizing that Dolly's game was meant to trace the memories of her parents. Having finally found the fur Dolly was looking for, her mother's old protective gear, and Dolly reveals the grand prize for Aya, a flower Aya's parents were searching for on the mountain. Not exactly what Aya was looking for, but Dolly never said it was actually going to involve how they died. And that's about it for So Long Adele. Swire and Bison's plan of improving the situation of Siesta is ongoing, and Aya finally gets a chance to reflect on her summer, writing a letter to her parents to tell them about everything she experienced in Siesta. After following in her parents' footsteps, she has uncovered the great legacy that they have left behind for Terra, their love for her, and their hope that Aya's future endeavors will reveal a new horizon for humanity. The event is a great example of a story without a climactic battle being built up to. The volcano's eruption provides a great sense of growing tension throughout the event, which really replaces the need for an actual antagonist. Even Dolly being the boss of SL8 is all part of his game and not an actual fight that takes place. Additionally, Aya Alta being slowly built up to is great, spending the majority of the event in her original outfit but appearing as her alter in the dream sequences throughout the event, before finally taking on that mantle when she claims her mother's gear. The build-up is fantastic and the payoff has a lot of impact, which makes it one of the best alter introductions in Arknights, at least in my opinion. Also, the Beast Lords get another great addition with Dolly. Unlike the others we've seen previously, his powers seem to be far grander. Not just immortality like the others, but the ability to be invisible to those who don't interest him, and being able to create clones of himself that have the memories of others. Very impressive. The event primarily focused around Aya, which was pretty obviously going to happen because just look at the title, and you could probably guess that I enjoyed it. Although just because I have focused most of this video on Aya doesn't mean I didn't like the other characters in it. They just weren't as fascinating as her. It's not the greatest story Arknights has ever told, but it's an absolutely enjoyable read. And that's about it from me. I'll see you all later. Be good people.